Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi guys, how are you today? I hope you are in a good health. Before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Maftuhatarizqoh, or you can call me Inko. Today in this video, I want to explain about a poem from Rupi Kaur and this essay I made before. Okay, first, this is the poem, page 52 from Somebody by Rupi Kaur. Let me read this poem for you guys. I want a parade. I want music. I want confetti. I want a marching band for the ones surviving in silence. I want a standing ovation for every person who wakes up and moves towards the sun when there is a shadow pulling them back on the inside. I don't know what the title, because Ruby Kaur that she didn't add the title in her Instagram. I just I just I just write the page from the book. Okay, we go to the analysis. Poem from page 52 in the book Homebody by Ruby Kaur. I think this is a poem that very interesting to read. This poem has a very deep meaning, even though the diction and the choice of words are very simple. Rupi Kaur seems to want to convey something in this poem, which intends to make someone who is in slum can get back up. In my opinion, this poem has a meaning about how someone who really needs appreciation for what she or he has done, especially in surviving and fighting depression that she or he is experiencing. When someone is experiencing severe depression, even thinking about ending his life, they need a trusted person to be a place to tell their stories. Someone who managed to survive from depression also needs appreciation because they managed to get through it. That is what Rupi Kaur seems to want to convey through this poem. Okay, the first stanza. In the first stanza, the narrator says, I want a parade and I want music. I want a parade and I want music. In that line, it means that the I figure needs something that can evoke an atmosphere such as music or a parade. When people are in a sadness and in a low point, they usually prefer to listen to music or come to an event to erase the sadness that is in them. This can help him or her to forget that the sadness that she or he feels. And still in the first stanza, in the line 3 and 4, I want confetti and I want marching band. These two lines, confetti and marching band, are interpreted as a form of appreciation for someone who has managed to survive and get out of the zone of sadness or depression. Then, still on the first stanza, and this is the last line, for the ones surviving in silence. For the ones surviving in silence, in line 5. The sentence is intended for people who have survived and managed to survive in the silence that is felt. It can be concluded that in the first stanza, people who have managed to survive from adversity as well as sadness need appreciation because this is a great thing. I like this poem because it has very deep meaning, and this poem also seems to show that even when we are in slum, there are still many people who care for us. As indicated in the second stanza, I want a standing ovation, and for every person who, in lines 6 and 7, when some people will do things that makes us excited again because we have been able to survive as far as we can. And in the lines 8 and 9, wakes up and moves towards the sun. And when there is a shadow, which show that some people are able to bounce back and move forward despite having a bad shadow in the past. And in the last line of this stanza, pulling them back on the inside. Line 10 means that we are the ones, we are the ones who are able to help and support the person who is experiencing this to get off what makes him or her down and depressed. The issue, I think, if I analyzed or if we analyzed and reviewed again, this poem raises the issue of depression, which can be related to psychoanalysis theory. Psychoanalysis theory is a theory developed by Sigmund Freud. In general, this theory states the unconscious in individuals has a major role in the person. According to Freud, there are three aspects of personal structure, namely the ID, ego, and superego. When the ego is unable to balance the demands of the ID with reality and moral values or superego, anxiety will occur. Like what Rupical word. If this poem is really about someone who is in slime, then those who have managed to get out of the zones should be given appreciation because it is not easy to get out of the zone of deep adversity or and depression at the lowest point. This poem also shows that people who are experiencing depression are not alone because many people are there by many people are by their side to help and support them. The issue is or the issue of depression is a serious issue that is felt by the sufferer. We go to the narrative element. The first is character. In this poem, in my opinion, there is only one character, namely the character I. The figure of I is described as a person who wants to give appreciation to people who have struggled and survived from their problems. As in a quote, I want a standing ovation for every person who wakes up and moves towards the sun, which is in the last stanza or second stanza, explaining how this I figure really cares and admires people who have managed to get up and start everything again from scratch. We go to the plot. The exposition. The figure of I wants a parade and a music. Raising action. When the figure of I needs a lot of things, such as confetti and marching band for people who have survived in silence. The climax is the figure I or I want to give more appreciation to people who have struggled and survived. Even want to give a standing ovation to people who are able to rise from their adversity. Following action. People who have managed to get up their lowest zone. And the real solution is appreciate the person and show their care. Setting. We go to the setting. I can't clearly or exactly describe the setting in this poem, but I think it is in a passionate state, and it's a happy feeling when the I figure sees how people have managed to get out of their slum and low point. POV or point of view. This poem uses the first point of view because it uses the word I in the first person. In the first person point of view, the story is told from the narrator's perspective. This allows narrators to give readers their first-hand experience, including what they saw, felt, thought, heard, said, and did. Theme. And the last theme. I think the theme in poetry is about self-identity. Seeing from the point of view that this poem uses the first point of view, the more appropriate the theme leads to self-identity. We go to the last part, that is conclusion. The conclusion is from this poem, we are taught a person who is at his or her lowest point and manages to rise up is a strong person. They are a strong person. The figure needs appreciation because it is not easy to survive and struggle in a slumped and depressed state. Some people think that it is a normal thing that is felt in life. They call it the twists and turns of life. However, from this poem, it is shown that it is very difficult to be a person who struggles alone to get out of his or her depression zone or at the lowest point of her or his. And depression, for me, it is the worst feeling in the world. Your thoughts are eating you life from within. Okay, that's all for me. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you guys enjoy this video and this is useful for you. Stay healthy, stay positive. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.